It's time for another honest platform review. So, this week I'm going to be taking a look for the very first time at a platform called Creately. It's a platform for project management, brainstorming, and it's a tool that can be used to collaborate with other people in whatever capacity that might be. So, I do want to make it very clear this is not a sponsored video. However, Creately did reach out to me and ask me to do an honest review of this platform. So they are giving me a free month of their highest level plan so that I can play around and take a look at everything and show you guys what this platform is capable of. However, I do want to make it very, very clear. This is the first time I'm looking at it, and you're going to be seeing my absolute honest review of this platform. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss another upload. All right, guys, let's dive in. So, this is where I land on the very first page. And I do have to admit, when I'm landing here automatically, it's giving me corporate vibes. Now, does that mean that it can't be used in a small business or as a solopreneur? No, of course not. I mean, I certainly know that there are benefits to this different type of documentation and charting and things like that, regardless. But it definitely feels corporate to me. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot here that I'm sure I could use more, but I think that maybe because I haven't had access to this same type of, charting and I mean, I have Kanban, of course, in Trello, but, like, mind maps and flowcharts and, I mean, org chart I don't really need, right? But because I haven't had access to this, I think I have gotten creative and kinda come up with my own ways of documenting this type of thing. So maybe you have too. There's also more templates here I can see. Oh, man, lots more templates here. So, yeah, there's a lot of oh, man, sailboat? Oh, geez. Okay. So, yeah, it is a little overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie with that. It is definitely overwhelming. I can see there's gonna be a lot going on here. So we'll get through looking around as much as we can, before turning this into a 3-hour video. Let's just see what we can find and kinda go from there. So we've got our folders. I'm assuming this is just like I mean, Workspaces is like where my created stuff would be, my saved stuff. Let's kind of look around. Everything's gonna be empty right now, right? Because I haven't done anything with it. Um, I do like the fact that there seems to be kind of like a public workspace area and a personal one so that if you were collaborating with a VA or if you were I don't know, partnering up with somebody like how I do with the Success Through Community podcast, I like that there would be ways that we could have shared items in one space. At least this is what I'm assuming. Shared items in one space and then this would be just mine, so it would keep it private. So I do like that because I think some of these tools don't think about that in that way. Okay, so let's look at slides. Home folder cannot contain presentations. I'm not sure what that means. Let's just move up here for a second. Oh, maybe I have to create stuff first. Okay, hang on. Home folder cannot contain presentations. To enable, move workspace to a different folder. Create this workspace in a folder. Okay, hang on. So let's create a folder. Seems like we need to do that. Okay. Oh, we have tips. I always love when they have tutorials and tips and stuff. Okay. So this is just a standard flow chart, it seems. So, okay. I use the plus button to access shapes. Okay. Line connectors are in the toolbar. If you've ever used any kind of flow charting tool, this seems pretty straightforward. Create speeds up your workflow. Okay, so this interface is just a little bit quicker. You have the ability to just kind of hit the plus sign instead of having to search over here again. That is nice because certain tools like Visio and Draw.io and Lucid Chart, like it can be a little bit daunting to find stuff. So I do like that they've made this seems to be more intuitive and kind of like just making things easier to find. That's always good. Notes and data for any item in the workspace. Okay, so you can kind of create a little note situation. Okay. Share the URL to collaborate in real time. That's always good. That's kind of the point of a tool like this, right? Is to be able to be collaborating real time, just like you would with any of the like Google stuff or Microsoft 365, all that good stuff. That's always good. Okay. So now I've created this. Now will it let me click into these things? No. Because I can click into alerts apparently. Display rules. Oh, I'm assuming that's gonna be automation, which as we know, I like. Let's see. New rule. Oh, maybe not? Oh, yeah, it does. Okay, so this is kind of like a if you've watched any of my automation videos before, this feels like it's going to be like an IFTTT, so if this then that. It's just written with kind of different verbiage. That's something that always kind of gets me in the tech space is I understand that everybody wants to kind of like be unique in their own way, but and maybe there is a legal reason for this. I don't know if there's like a copyright on if this then that. It's possible. But the fact that all the different platforms kind of use slightly different terminology when it comes to that, I feel like that can be, I don't know, alienating, I guess, to people who are newer to technology and trying out new tools, and that maybe they would recognize it easier if the same kind of naming convention, the same verbiage was used across the board a little bit more. I don't know, that's just a thought. But yeah, it feels like this would be like, hey, when this is true, then do this. Okay. So, but now let's get back to here and why I still can't click into any of these. So let's grab a template just so that I can save something. Let's do a mind map. Why not? Okay, so we've got a mind map. Oh my. Okay. Okay, so okay, hang on. Let's get can I get this guy out of my way? Yes, I can. Okay. So this is I guess giving you ideas of like little boxes of notes that you could put in here. They're also actually like tips for me as a newbie. That's great. But like the purpose of a mind map would be it's a brainstorm. It's a brain dumping kind of situation. So that's good. I mean I don't tend to write it out in this kind of way, but maybe I could if I had the tools. Okay, so we've got this. Now let's go ahead and give it a name. And I guess that's already saved. Okay, yeah, it seems to auto save to an extent, which is good. Okay. So, but I still don't understand why I can't to enable move into a different workspace. Okay, so I have to move it. How do I move it? Let's see. Oh, move to. Okay. So no drag and drop like my brain wanted to do, but let's just move workspace. Why isn't it doing it? Oh, because I don't have an option here. Okay. So maybe I need to create a workspace in here. Although I kind of thought this was a workspace. I'm a little confused. Let's just create it in here. That's one thing I would say to creately is like our brains at this point are very accustomed to drag and drop. So, especially if you're going to, oh, see, now it looks like I could do it. So, especially if you're going to not allow me to do certain things when my folder or my template is in that personal workspace, which I kind of don't understand if I'm honest. Like I get that there wouldn't be much need for presentations or things like that when you're in your personal workspace, but what if you're like building it out? Like what I would like to be able to do is build out what I'm doing and maybe that would include turning it into a presentation, but I don't necessarily want that to be visible to other people. And the impression I get is that when something is in this workspace, it's visible because I don't see a way that I could like hide. I mean, you can obviously specifically share, but I feel like people would be able to find this if they were in my organization. And when I'm building something and it's a work in progress, I kind of like the ability for it to be private until I'm ready for it to be publicly consumed. So, just a thought. Maybe I'm just missing a way to do that, but the fact that this is telling me I can't do all of this stuff while it's in my home workspace, it just feels, I don't know, weird. And the fact that I can't just drag and drop it out of here, like I would love to be able to do that. I know you can move it, or it says you can move it, but that didn't seem to work for me. So I don't know. Maybe it's me. Um, okay. So I've got my workspace and let's do this now. So test public mind map. And then let's just put a few things in here. So let's do a course because this is a way that I would probably use a mind map tool like this is to develop courses for the membership. So if I had here, let's just put course topic and then so main point number 1. Oops, no enter. Okay. And then main point number oops, number 2. Oh, but I see that I could mention somebody. That's cool. And then main point number 3, but then it seems we have the ability here to say, well, idea. I guess if we're testing here, that makes sense. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna change that placeholder data. Okay, so we've created this. Now here's where I'm curious, like, can I turn this into slides or, like, add it to slides? If I spent more time in this, I'm sure I would find some tricks that I'm not seeing right here. Oh, new slide. I don't have any slides. Start by creating a new presentation. Okay. Presentation 1. Okay. Make a selection in the workspace to add to the new slide. Okay. So let's go ahead and okay. Hang on. Selection. How do I do a selection? Add selection to new slide. So what if I think this maybe is the selecting tool? No, that's just making it smaller. Okay. Oh, here, no, that's a text box. Slide 1. Okay, so it just brought in the whole thing. Okay. Waiting for followers. Oh, so this is like a live presentation for like a webinar or a training or a meeting or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to leave the presentation. Okay, so that's good to know that that's what that is. I mean, that's cool functionality to have it built right into here. But like, what if I didn't want to share the whole thing? Like, what if part of this was just for me and I just wanted to share that? It makes me think I should be able to um, select in there, but I'm not seeing that. Unframe. What if I do that? Unframe. Nope, still framed. Switch shape. What's this? Oh, AI. So it's got AI built into it. That's cool. Similar items, counterpoints, custom prompts. That I like that. Oh, and I like that you can generate a combo. Oh, okay. We'll test that in a second. Oh, where did my toolbar go? Oh, okay. Oh, it's still trying to take me on a tutorial, I think. I jumped ahead. Okay, so if I was making notes, I could do that with everything. We saw that in the original little tutorial. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, so let's try. I'm going to try tagging one of these things to myself. Because I just want to test and see if that's when I do that, turning it into the Kanban board, if it's going to auto assign that task to me. Let's find out. Okay, so we're going to do this and we're going to say generate a Kanban board with action items. If you've paid attention on the channel at all, you know Kanban boards are kind of my jam. That's why I love Trello so much. Even though I utilize some other visualizations in Trello, like calendar and stuff like that, coming back to that list view, that list and card view, which is also known as Kanban in the tech world, that is just the way my brain works best. And so I definitely like the fact that you could build out a flowchart or something in here and turn it into a Kanban board. So let's just see what that looks like. Okay. Oh, okay. So it keeps it in the same board space. Oh, that's what happened when I unframed. Okay, good to know. So if I click, I'm going to click back in here and I'm going to reframe it because I want to be able to drag that stuff around. There we go. Okay, so let's make this smaller because I want to see. Oh, that didn't really make the whole thing smaller like I was hoping it would. Ugh, okay, there we go. Okay, so then how do I, if I want to, there we go. Okay, so we've got our Kanban board here, but like where did it get all of that? Was any of that listed on here? No. Yeah, I don't see any of these tasks over there. And I don't see any of my ideas or main points or any of that reflected here either. This just looks like a very standard project management Kanban board. Outline the project objectives and deliverables. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, Trello, take note of that. So when I just hover over this edit little box right here, I can literally read the card. That's kind of cool, just that little hover visualization. I do like that because it eliminates some clicks, right? Of having to click in and out of cards. Yeah, I just like that. That's cool. So if I edit it though, okay, so it looks like this. So it gives us our front of card, or I guess that's the back of card technically, as the header, and then the front of card as like the notes. And I suppose we could tag. I don't know why that clicked out of that when I did that. Maybe because we don't have any tags yet? Oh, that's cool that you can change visibility of certain things. I do like that. Like card level visibility, it seems. And then the data here, I'm not entirely sure where all of this is coming from or like what I guess this is part of how that rules thing works, right? So project status, I guess this is the column it was in, right? Yeah, to do. Okay, so that makes that status. Okay. So it's just a basic card. And what else can we do here? Save as new object type. What does that mean? Create, choose database. Okay. So this is just getting more complex, but I know that there was like a data, yeah, there's like a data thing here and I'm not entirely certain how this is meant to be used. Okay, so you can connect with GitHub and Jira. Okay. Okay, so I'm not going to lie. This is quite complex. It's certainly powerful and it's certainly capable of a lot of things. I'm not totally convinced that I would use this myself just because honestly, like it's just too much tool. I've said this before. I want to say I said this about FlowTrack. It was either FlowTrack or Firmeo, maybe both, where it's fantastic and like if I had a huge team and whatever. I mean, I use tools like this in my corporate world. We use Jira and Confluence and stuff like that. But this feels like way more than I need for my solopreneur business. Even in the way that I collaborate with people. Here, sorry, this is distracting. Even in the way that I do collaborate with people and I interact with other people, to me, being able to do that in a simpler tool like Trello or using things like Trello, and if I had to, like Google Docs or Google Sheet or something like that, things that are just a little more simple. I mean, honestly, like, I don't think that I'm personally doing anything so intense that it requires this level of technology. Now, that's really going to depend on what your business is, number 1. I mean, if you're working in some sort of software development, even if it's creating power-ups for Trello or plugins for WordPress or things like that, creating an app or something, then even if you're a small business, and especially if you're collaborating with other people with other skill sets that are feeding into what you're doing, I think something like this could be very helpful. But for me, this just feels like way too much, and I barely scratched the surface. I mean, what did we do? We looked at a mind map and we turned it into a Kanban. It's just too much for me. But also this has a lot to do with just the way my mind works. We've talked before about some of the other different project management tools, like we've got Trello, we now have Creately, which again, way more than project management, but for that purpose. Asana, Notion. We've maybe touched on ClickUp. I don't think we've ever actually shown it, but like tools like that, they're all accomplishing the same types of goals, right? But everybody's brain works differently. So while I went into Notion for a bit last year to play around and see if, because there were things about it that I really, really liked and that I thought would be cool, like just some of the customization and all that, it just didn't work the way my brain worked. I needed more of that structure that Trello has. And that doesn't make Notion a bad tool at all. It's just not right for me. And that's kind of what I feel like about this. I mean, this is something that clearly has a lot of capability. I love that it has AI built into it. I love its live collaboration. I love, like I said before, the fact that you can have these public facing, or not public, but workspace organizations facing stuff and then also have your own personal stuff. But it does confuse me that I can't access all of the features in my personal workspace, like, in order to create and test and things like that. That's super important to me, and I don't always like that to be visible to other people. Maybe I'm missing and Creately team, if I'm missing something here where I would have been able to access that, or while this is here in this public space, if I were to be able to kind of hide it until I'm ready for other people to see it, let me know that in the comments, because I might just be missing it since I'm not spending a ton of time in here. I do see that sharing it is like a manual thing that you have to do, but I'm getting the impression that it's still visible to them even when I haven't shared it yet. And so that's what's kind of throwing me. I am curious though, now that I'm thinking it out loud, I'm curious to see if now that I have this kind of workspace open, how easy, oh, yeah, it was up here. How easy is this to move again without having that drag and drop? Okay, so I can now move it into that workspace, which then now gives me the ability to, oh, but I still can't use those things? Hang on, let me click between the two. This is, I think it's moving slow because it wants me to do this tutorial, and I don't wanna do this tutorial right now. Okay. So let me, yeah, that was why it was so slow. So I'm in this one. I have the ability to do this stuff. I'm in this one, which was built in my home, but has now been moved to the public one. Oh, and now I can do these things. Okay. So that seems to be clear that when it's personal, there are certain things you don't have access to. I don't understand why. So Creately team, maybe let me know that in the comments. Let us know that in the comments. I also do really like the ability to export. That's one thing that with Trello you don't get until you're at like one of the highest paid levels, is the easy ability to export everything. I do like that. I like the fact that I could export, like if I created a visual mind map like this, I could export it to a PDF or to a image or whatever and be able to insert it somewhere. I mean, that's always great functionality. And then here's, yeah, where I could collaborate if other people were in here working with me. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool. I definitely think it's too much for me personally, and I think it might be too much for most, but this is one of those things where you probably just wanna try it for yourself because maybe you'll get in here and realize that, like, wow, this is exactly what I've been looking for. I want to have all of these different templates and being able to visualize things in different ways. Like, I love the idea of this mind map because this is how my brain wants to see things, like all expanding out from the center and all of that. It's just not how my brain works. So, I'm going to drop a link in the description. This link is going to get you over to where you can set up your free 7-day trial. I do think that 7-day trial is at one of the higher premium levels. They do have like a free account, but my understanding is that that's pretty limited in what you can do. So this would give you a chance to play around with some of the additional functionality for a week and see how you feel about it before making a decision if you would want to buy it or not. So what do you guys think of this platform? Yes, no, do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments. The online tools for your business do not need to be complicated and overwhelming. It's time to let it be easy.